Welcome back to another episode. Ryan here with Chaos MMA, and today we have on New England cartel fighter Tom Pagliarulo, who fights March 17th. Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time to come on again. It's great speaking to you. And how about this timing? I messaged you. I think it was Monday, and then a day later, your fight gets announced. So how about that timing? I didn't even know about your fight, but perfect timing, I guess.
Yeah, man. Can't beat that, huh?
Yeah, perfect. And it's great to speak to you now about that. And speaking of this fight, when did you first hear about this fight? Because we know you wanted to get back in there soon. I think you posted something like Fight News back in was it end of January or something? So when did you first hear about this?
Um, so I've been knowing I'm fighting on this date, man, since like the beginning of December, I think. I knew it's Calvin Cater's promotion, Combat Zone. Um, so I obviously knew he told me right away, hey, I'm having a show March 17th at Encore in Boston, gonna be big. So I'm obviously always fighting for him whenever I can, and so I knew about the date like early December, and then you just gotta wait on an opponent, which I'm still doing. It's crazy, man. That guy's falling out left and right, but he sent me a message the other day. He says 0% chance you don't fight. And that's a bold statement, but I have faith in him, man.
No doubt. We'll get into that opponent thing later because I thought that was pretty interesting. Now there's no opponent yet and everything, but how cool is it to fight in Calvin Cater's promotion? Like you train with him all the time. Like how cool is that to fight in his promotion?
Yeah, it's been interesting, man. My first amateur fight was for Combat Zone, and that was before I even started training with Calvin or any of them. And now to see where we are, and be on the team with him, and they're like family now. You know what I mean? So it's always awesome to be able to fight for him. It's kind of a win-win for both of us. He gets to build me and my teammate Nick up under his banner, and we get to put on a show for him and his promotion. So it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and you said your first fight was in combat zone. Like, how was that? How was the experience the first time? I bet you that was an amazing experience to be with all those guys and everything.
Yeah, it was something, man. It was definitely a what am I doing type of moment backstage, that first sanctioned fight. But it was awesome. And the show's just grown a bunch since, the production, everything is just getting bigger. And now we're fighting at Encore in Boston, one of the biggest venues in the area, you know what I mean? So it's cool to see it grow.
Yeah, and does it help? And last thing about that, does it help in a sense that you don't really have to like travel as much? You kind of get to stay in town. You're kind of close to it and everything. You don't have to jet lag or anything, any of that.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's always nice being able to sleep in your own bed on fight week and wake up in your own bed. But I don't mind the traveling too much, especially for these regional fights, as it prepares you for the big show, the UFC. My first pro fight, I had to travel for that and stuff. So I don't mind that. It's fun when the team's together. We're always on the road together and stuff. So I don't mind either, but it's definitely nice fighting close to home.
No doubt. Very cool fight and close to home, I bet. And let's talk about this fight. You said your opponent is to be determined. Now, do you have an idea of who it could be right now? Like, is there any idea 3 weeks out? Nothing.
Man, I don't really I don't care to be honest with you.
I
You know what I mean? They could have someone, you know what I mean? I don't really focus on it too much. I'd like to know, that at least they got something lined up. But man, at this point, this is kind of how it goes for me around here. It's always I find out who I'm fighting the week of normally, and it's crazy. So all I can control is showing up to the gym, getting better, and working hard. So that's what I've been doing, man. And whoever shows up on fight night, that's who I'm fighting, and I'll be ready, man.
I know in a sense, like it's not like a short notice fight, but like it kind of like, do you think it kind of is because you're not finding out your opponent to like a week in advance, but you do get a training camp like what a couple weeks. So how do you feel about all that? Like it's not really short fight week, right?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. At this level, it's like you kind of just always work on getting better at everything. It's not like, I mean, you get to the UFC, that's when you can really break down who you're fighting. There's so much film on those guys. At this level, it's like that's just how I do shit now, man. It's the last fight's 2 days notice, a week after I fought. My pro debuts just is 4 days notice, you know what I mean? The short notice thing is kind of it's kind of my thing now. So it is what it is.
Hey, I love fighters that go out there and just take short notice fights whenever, we're seeing over the weekend Bobby Green taking that against one of the top guys in the division on 10 days notice. It's so cool to see. And I know we don't know your opponent yet, but I always ask them, fighters that come on, official prediction. Like, do you have an official prediction, even though you don't know the opponent, of how you're getting your hand raised March 17th?
Yeah, man, for sure. Whoever it is, I'm putting them away. I've done a lot with my hands. People haven't seen my grappling. I know I'm a big threat on the ground too, and people haven't gotten to see that yet. So, man, wherever the fight goes, I'm looking for the finish. That's just my style. They're not paying us by the minute in there, so I want to go in and get out. We'll see who it's gonna be.
No doubt. Very excited for it. And you said grappling too. Like when people like they see the New England cartel and everything, Font, Cater, you, all these guys, they just think of like slick boxing and everything. But we saw in Cater's last fight, wrestling against Gigo was amazing. So like you're wrestling too. You think we're gonna see that more in the next couple fights?
100%, man. That's definitely part of my plan, especially after that last one. I feel like I definitely could have done a better job of mixing it up. That's just something I just didn't do that night. I was a little flat that night. I'm a lifelong wrestler. That's how I started, man. I've been wrestling since fourth grade. So I definitely got to start showing that. That'll open up more with my hands too, making these guys worry about the takedown and what I can do on top. But I think you'll see all of us grapple a little more. We got a damn good jiu-jitsu coach and Nick Fiore. He's fighting the same night as me. Young up and comer, same age as me, 3-0. He's one of the best black belts in this area, man, if not the whole Northeast. He's phenomenal. So we're prepared for wherever the fight goes for sure.
No doubt. That's great to hear. I mean, if you're gonna be able to grapple, strike, who's stopping New England Cartel in 2022? But speaking of the fight, your last fight, I know it was a split decision, didn't go your way. Did you agree with that decision?
Man, it is what it is. It could have gone either way. The way I like it, I just didn't do enough. I lost. So yeah, you know what I mean? There's three dudes whose opinion mattered in the world that night, and two of them didn't think I won. One of them did. I went in there and I thought I had my timing good and I felt great. I threw a kick and broke my foot. First kick I threw like 40 seconds into the fight. But still, even with that, that's not why I lost. It just wasn't. It was like kind of everything just kind of the start of the downfall right there. And I was just on my back foot a lot. Didn't let my hands go enough. When I did, I was landing, but I just stayed on my back foot and let this dude chop my calf up. Is pretty much what happened. But it was close, man. I like to get that one back someday. It's definitely a fight that I think could happen on like the Contender Series or in the UFC someday. That kid's talented. There's not a lot of dudes, a lot of other prospects stepping up to the plate and fighting other prospects around. These guys like to pad their records and stuff. And a lot of that's like the managers got to do what they got to do to get their guys there. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. But I'm looking to bounce back. You saw Calvin Day coming off a loss, and I'm looking to do something real similar.
Yeah, everyone was doubting Calvin too, and he came back and did his thing. And so you said you broke your foot during the fight. Did you feel that a lot, or was like the adrenaline kind of taking it away? But how did that all feel during the
Yeah,
fight?
a little bit of both, man. It's funny. I like we were moving, feeling each other out, and I remember just saying to myself, "Got him!" Like, got my time, figured him out, let this kick go, and I felt something move, and I was like, "Damn!" I just dislocated my toes. So I tried like stepping on it while we were fighting. I was like stepping on my toes, trying to pop them in. I was like, "Fuck, that's my foot. That's not my toe." And I didn't tell my coaches till after the fight. I didn't want them to like stop it or anything in the corner. But yeah, it was like every time I try and sit on a punch, I could just feel like the bone. I actually broke two bones in there, and they were like shifting around. And I remember trying to take a shot, like this real shitty shot in the third round. I just tried to push off and just wasn't happening. So yeah, man, breaking your foot's not fun, but it's part of the game, man. It's a good learning experience. I can go all three rounds with that, but I still could have pulled the trigger more. You know what I mean? Regardless, like you're in a fight. Your foot's broken. That's in the past now. So you got to find a way to win still, and it's not stopping my hands from moving. So it was a big learning experience, man. That's something that's never gonna happen again. Is going out like that. You know what I mean? I feel like I beat myself a little bit that night.
Yeah, but hey, like you said, you're moving past it now and everything. And are you kind of happy though? It like happened early in your career instead of like later on in your career. So now you know how to deal with it when you get more experience and like more of these fights. Kind of. Are you happy it happened now? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're never really happy with a loss, right?
Yeah.
I hate losing. I hate
I
losing more
know.
than anything, and winning is probably one of the. It sounds kind of like toxic, but winning is like one of the most important things in my life. In anything, I like to win. I'm competitive. If whatever we're playing, if you don't want to win, I don't want you on my team. You know what I mean? I just something about winning and that satisfaction of training for something, putting in all that work and I won. I'm better than you on that night. Like I did everything I could and I'm the better man. Like that. That's why I do this thing is to win. You know, money's cool and the fame or whatever is cool, but I'm in this just to win and be the best. So yeah, I think I'm not happy I lost, but I'm happy for the experience gained from that and the knowledge I picked up from that. And man, I'm a whole different fighter. I can promise you that. Even my coach was saying just the way I'm moving and training, man, like I learned a lot. And then I got to watch Rob and Calvin prepare for two of the best dudes in the world right after that and learned a lot through that. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get back in there.
Yeah, well, you're making me excited too for March 17th to see your new style and everything else. And speaking of your coaches and everything else, who's gonna be cornering you for this fight?
Yeah, it'll be Rob Font, Tyson Chartier always. Those two are normally always in my corner. And then Jake Manini, our striking coach. Calvin Hopp's in my corner too, but we're fighting for his promotion, so he
I know.
can't really do that. And then my jiu-jitsu coach Nick, he's fighting that night too. He's actually the main event. So I'm pumped, man. Anytime me and Nick are on the same card, it's fireworks, man. We light that place up. So
Yeah, and my connection just went thing. But you're
yeah.
like fighting with all these your teammates on the same card, and in my opinion, I think the main cartel, you guys have one of the best corners because you got Tyson Chartier, one of the best head coaches in the game. Like every single year, like he's just what he does. You got Rob in your corner, top bantamweight in the world. Calvin sometimes too. Like that must help you so much. I bet. Like how much does that help you?
Yeah, it's more of a confidence thing. You know what I mean? Being with those guys in camp just builds your confidence up. You know you're putting in work with the best guys in the world, and it's a small group, man. There's four of us. There's four fighters on this team. It's not like this big gym with all these guys. Like we make do and get the results we do with four guys and three or four coaches. So it's awesome having them in the corner. We're like family, so you want your corner to be guys you're tight with and you trust them. I trust each and every one of those dudes with my life, and that's essentially what you're doing with someone in that corner. You're hoping they're making the right calls for you and trusting them to do that. And yeah, man, I'm confident with those guys in my corner. I know I can beat anyone in the world any day. I feel like that, so I love having them there.
No doubt. Tune in March 17th. Cannot wait for this fight. And last thing here, I always gotta ask you guys upcoming prediction on a fight. 1 week now, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, former best friends. They train together too. How do you see this one playing out? Who are you going with?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not a fan of Colby, but as a fighter, he's very damn good, man. I think you got Kamaru Usman, got Colby Covington, you got the rest of that division. I mean, these pound for pound lists come out. If Kamaru Usman is the number one guy, where's Colby Covington? You know what I mean? How close were those two fights? The dude's an animal. He's got a big mouth. He says a lot, says some stupid things, but I know a few people who have met him, and it's all an act, I guess. I don't know, man. But I try and ignore that stuff when I'm basing on a fight. As far as his fighting and skill goes, the dude he's a specimen. So it's gonna be entertaining, fun build up. But I think Colby wins that fight. I mean, he wants to win that fight, man. But who knows? Jorge can put anyone out on any given night. So we'll see.
No doubt. But I gotta tell you one thing about Colby Zach. When me and my other buddy who does this with me, when we first started off, Colby followed us on Twitter and we asked him one day to come on, and he took the time to come on, like just out of and we weren't like anything, like we only had like a couple followers. So like I think it's more of like an act thing too. I just think like outside the UFC, like he's a really nice guy, but I don't know him personally, but that's what I'm just assuming, like you did.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he's a great dude, man.
Yeah.
I've seen a few clips of him and just like real interaction with people. He seems like an authentic dude, and he's got to pay the bills. You know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. He's got us talking about him, right? So, I mean, he's doing what he's got to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, tune in March 17th. Going to be a great fight. And for you, thanks for coming on again. And if you want to thank any sponsors, shout out any social media, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram at Tom Pags. That's where I try and keep up with all the fight news and stuff, and just keep following the journey, man. It's day by day, and we'll see where we're at a few years from now. We'll be having a little different conversation, hopefully a little bigger.
I know we will. I know you're gonna. I feel you're gonna be in the UFC one day. I know you will. But it was
Yes,
great
sir.
speaking, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll catch up after the fight.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Peace out, man.
Have a good one, man.